OSELE Patrick of PEMASON Pharmaceuticals Nigeria Limited.
We have with us the chairman of PEMASON Pharmaceuticals. And over the years, the challenges has been so evident within the healthcare delivery system. And just like we're doing within this period, we're gathering insights from heads of healthcare institutions. And we want to know your take about the current healthcare challenges in the present dispensation.
However, it will be out of place to think about having a system where challenges do not exist. However, when it comes to a situation where challenges by far outweighs other areas of endeavor in any establishment, in any making, it becomes worrisome. And that is the typical case of the pharmaceutical industry in this society in Nigeria. As a small child who grew up and come in to see pharmacy as a profession of noble men, when I look back at what it was and what it is now, it pains me that instead of meeting a better situation as a result of improvement in virtually everything in the world, we are draining towards the danger. Challenges are many and multifarious. Number one, the health system in this entirety is supervised in a manner that leaves much to be desired. Like when you came to the rescue at the time, and now she's no more. Presently, the system seems not to be working, maybe because we do not have people that have the courage. It's not that they do not know what is going on. It is because they are afraid of what will likely happen to them as individuals. As it is today, one can hardly differentiate between a good product and a bad one. NAFDAC registered products, and people now on their own go home to bring in whatever they wanted to bring in. Even packets of medicines registered are by far different from what is being brought in. Nigeria, with more than 50% of illiterates, you can imagine what the situation is with many of them. Even in the practice itself, more than 50% of the people who practice think more of profit than they think about the health of the person whom they are giving these medicines. And also ignorant go to the market and buy things which they feel is equivalent to the right one, not knowing that they are being deceived. There are many areas that need serious attention. To start with, counterfeiting is a concept often brought up in all the media, in and all the places. But the truth of the matter is that no poor man can affect. It's not a small business. Something that must have to be known and borne in mind by most people is that the people who they chase up and down around the places, except those who are hawking from their daily needs, who for one reason or the other do not even know that exposing medicaments to the store is a threat on itself, may not necessarily be the main people to be glad. People in authority must have the courage to be able to get to the people who actually bring in these things across the world. There are no manufacturing plants in Nigeria that produces fake. Therefore, those who bring them in are not poor people, because to bring in a container load of medicine will cost you no less than $100,000. That is key. More important is also the lifestyle of people who do this business called pharmaceutical business. Do they have the prerequisite knowledge? Do they have the prerequisite documentations? Do they actually think of life? Because if it's not there, definitely they will never bring things that will keep people alive. Our society is one where how much money you have counts, not how much life you save. That is where the government must have to come in. Our orientation is very poor. We have to start thinking about it. And the question of the government of the day is key, very key. If one sees that to reconcile situations of things today with what it was in the yesteryears, the person will start asking himself where we are actually going. People do not, as of today, think about how to make good names. They only think about how to make big money. And making big money, whether it is right or wrong, whether it is in the right way or in the wrong way, justifies the means. And that is part of the challenges we are having today. Societal aims, societal damages, societal downturn of things, or tended towards solving daily human desires and human problems. Thinking less about the future, thinking less of the who created us, thinking less of life. Today, many of us do sit down to think what are the possible ways that will make one think that it's adding value to what it exists. And if you look around and think very well, you'll find out you hardly can find any. Because even people to whom you are supposed to be looking up to are the purposes of mending fences and doing things right, most of the time even do worse than what you think they should do. Now, in the pharmaceutical sector, which is the key topic of today, which is where we are coming from, one will have to think about a lot of things. Counterfeiting is one, I've mentioned it before. The second one is that workers who are in the industry, are they being remunerated enough? Then, how are we managing our pots? But these goods chemicals will come in from outside through the pots. Now that we have to sit on also more. So they all add up. The what brings up the challenges of the present day situation. The situation is even worse because we do not even know if the numbers that they do stamp on products are equivalent to NAFDAC numbers. Challenges are multifarious. I pity people who produce locally to some extent, but I also think they needed to wear longer gloves to produce a better product so that they will be competitive. In recent times, challenges are many beyond the pharmaceutical industry, but we are limiting ourselves to it today because most of the people, if you go to the hospitals, you will have one PT or people. There are no drugs because those who want to do the right thing are often made to become more and more. So those who do the wrong thing now have the guilt. Cloning is the other thing. And no one incidentally thinks about how to stop this. Because everyone is afraid of it. Everyone is afraid of being seen to be the one going after these things. Challenges go by far beyond the ordinary challenges of life because our desire to make that which we call matter is by far much more than what we ordinarily have been thinking about. I'm thanking God we're here because we believe it will be better one day, but we don't know when that one day will come. If those in government can put on their gun slates and remember that there are people who do not have the strength there, whom they generally we call the common masses, who actually voted for them to be in power. They should, at one point or the other, remember them and forget about fear until you know that the powerful people who instantly destroy the society. That is it as it is today. And that is some of the situation as it stands.
Thank you so much for that insightful one. I must tell you, I am glad about the aspect from which you took it and which is very, very insightful. And it calls and behoves on the current government and people who are the helm of affairs to look deep into this and see how we can actually get a better result out of it. And more so the consideration going down to the common man, like you have rightly spoken. So if you find yourself within the position where you have to do things right, what are exact things, let's say the ball comes to your table, what are the things you feel you can do specifically to curb most of all these challenges you have enumerated?
If I am to be at the helm of affairs, the basic elements that will make the process transparent and make most of the activities turn around will be put in place. Number one, people who are not qualified will not be to one important places. Number two, there must be a daily output of results from practically oriented processes. So that by the end of every day, everyone must have cleared the step. Number three, the act of counterfeiting must be given a serious look into, so that anyone caught doing it will be made to know that life is involved in this business. Then for people in government, legislation to make it highly punishable offense for one to involve in anything debilitating against having products, pharmaceutical products that is effective and efficient for the patients. For the distribution system, we have to have a modified distribution system in place, whereby what have been experimented in other parts of the world will be put in place. If they have the likes of drug markets, it will be like what is obtainable in a lot of other places, whereby the people, the control units of the government will be by the side of the drug markets, and all the premises of the drug market will be manned by qualified personnel who will be accountable in case there are challenges. Because the issue of counterfeiting and other related matters in relation to medicine come more from act of ignorance. Yes, ignorance of the law is very excuse, but if you can modify it in such a manner that people who are educated can take the lead around the environment, and then you have a kind of control system where you have the labs, you have even NAFTA having their offices around, you have law enforcement agents around, and all those things put together to give a robust system whereby the number of people that will have been lost by vision of being chased away and turned to become part of the societal needs can now be turned into use, while the professional stays there to make sure that the conventional standards are maintained. It's been practiced in other parts of the world, so Nigeria cannot be different. It gives a direction and it makes one believe that the better result one can go at distant time. Then for NAFTA, which is the center piece of all in issues that relate to medicine, they must sit up. So if I'm at the head of affairs, I will make NAFTA to become responsive to the daily needs of their office, so that the result will be seen, will be heard, and also seen. What we do now is that we have NAFTA, but we don't see them. So all the activities do not come to bear. I know, like I will keep mentioning back in those days when late Professor Barak was there. She was being heard and she was being seen, and the result of activities was everywhere. And even the society came and stood up for her. Because that's when you know when you are doing well. The society must have to stand up for you. If I'm at the helm of affairs, there are some other practical things that will come to bear. Yes, force works, but combination of force and intelligence gives a better result. Today, everyone sells medicine. Everyone thinks about making more money out of medicine. Everyone thinks about growing as if it is right. A lot of them do not know that growing is an offense. There is no much awareness creation because everything is tailored towards making more money, whether you are a worker or you are in the business. Surprisingly, this money comes to things that are not alright also. Every office you enter into now talks about how to collect more money from the public. Now the GMP inspection phase takes a lot more money, even when they are not even going for inspectors because of the so-called COVID-19. If I am to be in charge, there must be a relationship between results and effort. But if there's no clear relationship between both of them, you either programming a jamboree for people or you are making some people to become power. Our society must be selling and the fact of intent and we want it to be one.
Thank you so much. That's a very wonderful insight, and I must say that this is just what I want, and this is where we're just on point. Is a wonderful input from your own perspective. And there's some other thing that came up during your explanation, which I don't just wish to let lie, and that is the issue of counterfeiting. You seem to have delved more in it, and I want to also let you throw more light on that counterfeiting, especially what you called cloning. I want to understand it more for the sake of our viewers who are listening. What exactly is cloning? What exactly is cloning?
Cloning, by its simplest definition, is the act of trying to mimic a product in such a manner that when you produce it and package it, it will be very difficult for a person with natural and normal intelligence to differentiate between the original and the fake. This is a concept that is actually becoming very common and very easy going for most of the criminals in recent times. You can go to the market, buy a packet of medicine, go to your house believing that you have bought the right brand, believing that you have bought a quality product, only to find out when you are taking it that you are not getting the required results. Producing something that has the same shape, the same characteristics in size and the particulars, only bereft of the original material content that is supposed to make it work. It's a very serious matter, a very serious issue.
And with the dive this is taking currently, do you think that most of the leaders of this very act are also the key players within the industry? Is it a far-fetched truth, or is there any link you may think?
I've been in the industry since after my graduation from the university. And the experience has shown that no one, to my knowledge, who is involved in the industry itself is involved in cloning or is involved in counterfeiting. Any of the two. It's always done by people who are not in the business because they do not understand it. I know a situation existed in the past where a product was actually done the same way, but when the owners of the product went in to find out, it turned out to be someone who was then dealing on solitaire that imported it from China. And when it was traced back to China, you know the funniest thing, the Chinese government, I think, executed the Chinese people that got involved in it. But those of them in Nigeria went up and down, and is still walking up and down today, living in VI. Ask yourself the number of people that were killed by this particular product. So, it is not people that are in the industry that are actually involved in it. Because no one will use his own energy to destroy a brand he has built. It does not happen like that. Or if he does, I've not seen one. That is the true position.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So basically, our gaze has to look at people entries from outside the industry who has probably heard that there is so much money within the pharmaceutical sector, who are only coming to see how much they can do to manipulate the situation to make more money out of it, not even minding the lives of the populace who could be at danger, could be compromised. All right. So you made mention of the GMP inspections and the shortfalls therein, given the current situation. Is this a persistent at this point?
Presently, because of COVID-19, GMP inspection have not been the way it's supposed to be. But there is an impression one would have wanted NAFDAC not to operate. It will be good if NAFDAC is not seen as a money-making venture. It will be better if they are seen as a regulating body. And the pharmaceutical regulating body is supposed to be quality-oriented organization. is not supposed to be seen as a money-oriented organization. The situation on ground does suggest that they are somehow derailing without knowing. A situation where you have to pay a certain amount of money for your papers to be cleared, as if they have called for GMP inspection, when actually they have not gone for it, contains them as a money-making organization. And to most of the people who are not Nigerians, and most people who are dubious, they think that that money is the essence rather than the quality for which the GMP inspector is meant for. It does seem that they needed to change their tactical approach in matters of that nature. Yes, it is known that the money often paid for inspection purposes or not paid at all for inspection purpose may not be enough or may not be able to handle the situation. But there must be a mirror of the new approach to be able to give teeth to the quality aspect of GMP inspection. If not, the essence will be negative. And that is what this occasion is. And what it looks like. Because when you pay money and they do not go for inspection, it simply tries to show that the essence of the inspection is the money, not to know if the place in question does have the required prerequisites. There are plants that do have European Union inspection certificates. The FDA, American FDA certificates, just to mention the two. In situations where people can show evidence of such in existence, there may not be need for them to pay this money until when it is certain that they can go for the inspection, so that people who are dealing on such products will be able to actually know that it is not the intention of NAFDAC to just collect money from them, but it is the intention of NAFDAC for them to do the right thing. But in a situation where everyone pays money, even when they are not going for inspections, it's not actually plausible for them as an organization. And that is the issue with GMP inspections.
So, thank you so much. Now, just before we just round up, you made mention of what it used to be then for product registrations and what it is currently now. Okay, there has been a hike in the price, and I want to ask you some direct questions as to, with regards to what it used to be then and what it is currently now. How much does it take, or did it cost during the then Dora Aconilis regime to register a product, let's say an OTC product and an ethical product, and what does it cost currently? Let's see if we can compare that.
It will be a little difficult for me to give answer to such a question.
Okay.
The reason is very simple. During the time I finished, it used to be specified prices for all these items. That is a kind of uniform. Now it is a little bit graduated. It will only take my going back to the books to be able to compare that. But one thing that is certain is that during the time of Professor Kumi, of the place framework, there was what he called GMP inspection fee. This is a total and new addition to what was obtained there and now. So the pricing system which they have done and they reviewed and gone back and reviewed again has more in it in terms of financial terms. I will also give it to them the reasonable extent that because of the devaluation of Naira, there may be need for regular increments. But the challenge has to do with those increments and then addition of GMP inspection fee applied. That's what the situation is.
During our interaction with some of the heads of institutions, most of them have decried the challenge with importation with regards to what the current rate is. Do you feel any of such pressures currently?
With regards to any challenge that is universal.
Basically, I know it is universal, but I wanted to know if you also feel the same pressure. I know basically everybody complained about that, but I would just want to know if it's not a problem for you, or is it?
It's an universal problem.
Okay.
And that is why, to a reasonable extent, I discount it. I only feel for the less privileged and the masses. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that pay the price. The situation where a container that used to be cleared with 1.5 to 2 million naira, for example, is now being cleared with about 5 million naira. Meanwhile, the minimum wage of a typical worker that used to be 18,000 naira and is being talked about to be pushed up to 30, used to be 18,000 to be pushed to 30,000 naira, is still being negotiated and taken. If it should be rich, you can imagine what the poor man is. So even if as a businessman you do make money here and there, something tells you that you are not safe when you move along the street. Because somebody somewhere will either force you to bring it by force, or you yourself you have to give it out on your own, or else you'll be going for burial every weekend. There is a disconnection between the different elements in the society. And until we learn to know that there is supposed to be a connection between them, our prayer will continue to rise. Anti-hypertensive medicine is actually on the increase. And the funniest thing, majority of them who cannot afford to do that now goes back to what they call approval. Every herbal medicine seller now is happening a few days. Even when they give you only something containing oranges, they will tell you it's an anti-hypertensive. You will take because you do not have the benefit. And the use of alternative medicine has not come to stay.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a wonderful one. That's a very insightful discussion I've had with you, and I'm very grateful for your time. All right, the next segment, just rounding up, if there's anything you probably need to tell us, innovations that you're doing within your capacity, or any introduction into the health sector, just a free one, you can just let us know.
PEMASON Pharmaceuticals. Our goal is to make the patient the central point of all. Presently, we know that the greatest terror to the world is COVID-19. We are actually thinking about how to make it become less of a terror in the world. To start with, our blood tonic, which we are about to get into the Nigerian market by virtue of product launch, has actually been formulated to have zinc, which is an important element in preventive therapeutic regimen formulation for the management of cases associated with that. So we have a product called worrisome, which we intend to, and which we have started already, to put into the market. And we make sure it contains zinc in such a quantity that the daily need of thought for preventive purpose is already in the product. We've taken as recommended. We have always thought of making sure that antihypertensives are there and continue to be there. we're happy to say that our life within Dexia record will continue to solve the problem of all of them that are having hypertensive situation. Though of recent, we found out that the product is being remade. Our knowledge, product lookalike is not allowed in Nigeria. And no other part of the world where it is allowed. Situations have arisen in recent times where I have received calls from people talking about products failing, only to find out from them later that it is not actually our brand, but it is a lookalike. Ours is a sustained release product, but the lookalike product is not a sustained release. And that is what I called it. It's a problem. I hope it was already enough that I've been notified about it. And I hope that you take the act of lookalike very seriously. Because life is important. Especially in cases that has to do with restricted products. We also coming on board by the special grace of God with our thinking in production movements. We don't know yet, but we are already working towards that.